Doing warm in here. That's my opening statement, really.
Well, Barry, what'd you see from some of your younger guys in this last week of development at practice?
Yeah, saw some talent and guys making plays, and everybody has a chance to make a play. Old lineman, quarterback, receiver, running back. We gave them all a chance last week. A lot of guys stepped up and did some good stuff.
Obviously, you're turning over so much of your offensive line after this year. What are you seeing from some of the younger guys that it could be kind of in that conversation moving forward?
I mean, I see guys that come to work every day and take advantage of their reps when we get them. We spend most of our time during the week giving our reps to the ones. I mean, our twos proportionally don't get a big chunk of that. They certainly get work during a lot of individual time. And I've seen guys use that to their advantage. And, so it was a good sneak peek into that about the way guys have come along and developed. And I don't want to get into the names, but I feel good about some of that.
Coach, what jumps out at you about the Maryland defense? Are they similar to anybody else you've played so far this year?
They're talented, and they play hard, and their scheme is good. And that's, watching the film is, last week was really impressive. The way that they're playing, they try to attack the ball and created a lot of turnovers. They create a lot of havoc with that. Got a lot of respect for how they play, and I think it's a very good defense.
I guess maybe beyond getting looks for some of your younger guys last week, what's the focus of the second bye week? Maybe that comes on the heels of one. The first one maybe not all that much before it.
Yeah, well, it was nice. It was good to recover, rest, refocus from a player and a coaching standpoint. We got a chance to kind of reflect again on the open date about what we've been doing well the last couple of weeks. Kind of look back at some of the results and see why we're failing or succeeding. There's a mixture of that, and so it's always good to hit the pause button just a little bit to reevaluate all those things. So hopefully we learn some things that will help us down the stretch.
Is there anything in particular that stood out from a failing or succeeding standpoint just in that two-game
Yeah,
stretch?
there was some stuff that stood out, and that jumped off the film, and the numbers don't lie to a large degree, so areas of concern. And the big thing is we just got to stay ahead of the chains. That's a big deal, is we got to stay on schedule, and that's not a secret to offensive success. I mean, everybody knows that, but it's just a dangerous world when you don't succeed well, and on early downs you end up getting third and long. It's hard to convert, so we got to do a good job of staying ahead of the chains.
What do you think about how Caden Pagan running the last couple of weeks? Looks like he's been fairly decisive.
Yeah, I think he's been running well. I think he's getting better and better, and you got to remember now he came off a pretty serious injury, and so missed a lot of football, and so as a guy's coming off an injury, I think he's gained a lot of confidence as the year's gone on, and his physical skills and his football and understanding what we're doing in football. He's a very intelligent player, but he hasn't played in a whole lot of games because of some of the injuries, so he's learning every week, and he gives everything he's got, and I think he's running well.
Is there something in particular you want to see from your team in this last three-game stretch, either that you haven't seen or you'd like to see more of?
I just want us to play well. I mean, that's a broad answer. I mean, there's little details to tighten up the details, our execution, me putting them in good spots. I just, we've played some good games, some good moments, but we still have not hit a four-quarter A to Z execution like I think we're capable of. And it's challenging us to do that. It'll be challenged Saturday too. Very talented defense. Like we said, opportunistic defense, very, very well schemed, and their scheme is very sound and very advanced and very complex. And I'd love for us to be able to put together a four-quarter game.
Barry, you've talked about kind of being a copycat profession in terms of what you run and certain things you like. How quickly, like the fourth and goal a couple of weeks ago, when you see that a week ago, how does that get into the call sheet in a matter of a week? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody hardly invents anything. Everybody puts their own spin on things. There's some people that invent things. There are, there's guys that are out on the forefront of schematic things that are new and creative, and I think just with the access to film that you have anymore, NFL film, every game gets in there, and we as a staff spend a lot of time studying those. We study people that we have an appreciation for about what they do, and that we relate to. We relate to people schematically. There's certain offenses that kind of they play the game like us. They have a similar philosophy, so we gravitate towards those teams, and we look and we gather information. I do it. We all do it. Guys send me stuff, and then we just figure out, what kind of fits for us. When I saw Alabama run that play, in that moment, I think against South Carolina, and I'd seen that play before, and some other people had done a similar type, scheme, and I was like, well, that makes sense for us because we had run something similar earlier with Hank in the Wildcat, and using Hank as eye candy there made sense to me, and so we put it in. And I'll just brag on our guys for a minute because we've got really intelligent players, and they can, they can get something taught to them. We can walk it, we can install it, we can run it once in practice, and I feel confident that we can go run in a game. And that's kind of how that unfolded.
Barry, since we woke up, the snow this morning, but it's supposed to be really nice on Saturday. Just curiosity, how much does weather impact how you game plan during the week?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, and certainly this time of year in this conference, you anticipate you having a game or two that are going to be, not necessarily ideal weather, but typical November Big Ten weather, and it's going to happen. And whether it happens on Saturday, and it sounds like to your point, it may not happen on Saturday. If we'd have played today, I know it would have, and so, but you just prepare and you got a plan. And at this time of year, you got to be able to run the ball and be able to control the line of scrimmage in order to be successful. And that'll be no different on Saturday. We're going to need to be able to run the ball and be physical, no matter what the wind's doing or the weather's doing. That's this time of year when guys are beat up a little bit. It's been a long year, and you got to be tough in the trenches. And our guys need to, take full advantage of that. Not advantage of that, rise up to that challenge, because it'll be a challenge Saturday.
Coach, we've seen Luke Altmaier become more of a complete quarterback with his speed and always has had the arm talent. Can you just walk through that as the confidence that you have in him now as a runner and a passer?
Well, I think his first game he played here, he probably is our leading rusher, when we played at Toledo. So this isn't anything he hasn't been doing or hadn't been capable of doing. Just there's a certain level of, that you want to try to protect him the best you can from unnecessary hits. And we're coming down to the stretch run here, and so a little bit more freedom to use him and use his ability to, to help give us a +1 advantage, so to speak. We're not going to run him a bunch during the game, but we're going to pick and choose our moments, and hopefully those are advantageous to us because he is athletic and he does do a good job in that regard.
Last year, Franklin and Bryant had the majority of the catches. This year, it does seem a little more spread. I know last game, 4 different guys caught a touchdown. Just what is it like as a play caller when there maybe are more guys, and do you prefer that, or what's it like as a coordinator?
Well, what it's like is practice habits become game day reality. Coach B says it all the time, and from the start of spring practice to the fall camp to this year, every day we went out there and competed, there was somebody different that made a play, and that's generated and created a lot of confidence for us as our team, our quarterback, and me as a play caller to let the plays rip and don't worry about who's in there, because I got confidence if they're on the field that they're going to be able to make the play. And I think diversity and spreading the ball around to multiple people, multiple receivers on multiple spots on the field is good for our offense. It was also good for offense last year to have 2 guys that we could count on carry the load. So each year is different. Each year is unique. Each game's unique. And I expect that to be the case on Saturday. But we do have a lot of balance in our receiving room. And I think that's a testament to how well they work, how well they're coached, and how well they get along, and they're very unselfish.
Yeah, obviously you need execution when you're in the red zone. But from a play caller, you guys have had success down, especially in the deep red. What are you looking for to have as much success as you guys have had in that deep red area?
We're just looking to punch the ball in.
Right.
I mean,
is there anything I guess you do?
Well, we're always trying to figure out ways to feature our players and our skill, our playmakers. And as the field becomes more condensed, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, in the run game and some of your base passing game too. The field gets condensed. You got to be able to operate within that. We've had our moments, we will, and we're going to continue to do that. But to have little wrinkles here or there that fit us, that are You know, I would not maybe on the deceptive end of things. That's always positive. Our guys have a lot of confidence in what we're doing down there, and they're executing at a really high clip. And we're going to have to continue to do that. I can't brag on them enough because, again, we'll put something in on a Thursday, and we'll rep it a time or two, and I'm like, game ready. You know, and I can tell it's game ready with the way they executed on a Thursday practice. I'm like, yeah, let's go let that one rip, and they've done a nice job in that. And it's a collective effort.
Is that a lot of quarterback driven? Because Luke has been, I mean, obviously it takes everybody, but you have some experience on the offense to your core guys. Is that driven with a lot of knowing it can go from Thursday to Saturday?
Yeah, it's a mature team. I think you're right, and obviously Luke can handle a lot, and what we're doing is not a lot. It's just maybe new for the week, but it's something they know, and it's just a spin on something. You know, it's a different tag, a different term, a different formation, but they don't flinch because it's usually, for the most part, things that we've done before. And having a veteran bunch of receivers, even though some of those guys are new to us, they're still veterans. They played a lot of football, and Arkins played a lot of football, and our lines played a lot, so it allows you to have some flexibility in the creative realm of things.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry.
Okay.